Made it.
We did it.
6:03.
Pew, 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 pew. On time. Ready to go.
Back to building.
What's up, everybody? Hopefully you can hear us.
I double checked the mic. I can see the waveform.
Okay, good. MC Lego Boy, daylight savings sucks. I want to go back. Abolish the time change. Agreed.
Monday was rough.
Monday was rough. Ugh. But hello to all of our channel members: Scotty Heron, Gio Flores, John DeLong, Jeannie from Tahini, Andy Bing. Hi, hi, hi. How's
Hey,
every-
hey.
Oh, hey, 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 hey. And there's Hilo.
Hilo says hi.
Hilo says hi, and also there's probably someone at the door.
Hilo.
Bradshaw Studio, thank you for the first super chat. It's just a little guy with sunglasses, which is what we were like a lot today. We went on 2 walks, and it is very warm and very sunny outside, which I hate.
It's getting hot already.
Boo the sun. Someone at the door?
Yeah.
Are
Well,
they just dropping something off, or
probably one of your Amazon purchases
oh, well, it might be our coffee, which
is an
is
Amazon
for
purchase.
both of us. Oh, hi, Ken.
Hey, Ken.
Asks, what is your early favorite track off Mayhem? And for you, what song from Mayhem are we going to dance to?
Uh, Abracadabra has been stuck in my head the most, I think.
Yeah, I was so sure that like nothing would beat Disease, and I'm
I still think I like Disease more, but
it's
Abracadabra is the one I find myself humming the most.
the music of Disease hits harder, but Abracadabra is like just catchier.
I'm just sitting working like Cadabra. Like I just catch myself humming
I know.
constantly.
And like I think about the dance all the time. We gotta learn the dance.
Yeah, so I guess that's what we're dancing to. We got to learn all the hand stuff.
Yeah. I really like Killa because it sounds very Prince. I like the Beast. I really love the exclusive track on the vinyl, and I'm so upset that it's not on Spotify because I don't have access to a record player
In the car.
in the car, especially
You're
not
gonna
in the
make
car.
me carry that around.
But yes, I'm really, really liking it. Gio, what do you think? Vanish into You is really, really good too. You said something about, which track was it? Garden of Eden. You said it sounded like a Muse song, and now I cannot get that out of my head.
Actually, that wasn't me. It was a different song that I was like, this kind of reminds me of Muse. But then that other person on TikTok compared Supermassive Black Hole to Garden of Eden, and yeah, it does. Just the beat more than anything.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw your message here, Gio. Hey guys, Molly Gaga's album is so fire. I got 2 variations for the bonus tracks. Yeah, I got the vinyl. I didn't get the CD. I forget if that one has like a separate track.
It's funny that
like,
we have a
exclusive.
record player and no CD player.
We have it's not a CD player. It's like a CD drive that plugs into USB, right?
Yeah, we do have a USB CD drive, which would play music on the computer, but like
Yeah, we don't have
we
a
don't have
CD
one in our
player.
car or anything.
But it's fine because immediately the bonus tracks were up on YouTube, and so I was like, okay. I don't like listening to it there, but I will. But I want to know what you think of the album, Ken, because it's got like so many different other artists' vibes in every track.
What song do you want to dance to, Ken?
Hi, Sean Sully. Sean has got me fired up on wanting a pickle martini
Ugh.
because they had a pickle drink at Disney, and
Uh-huh.
he was talking about making a couple pickle recipes, pickle
I mean,
drink recipes.
that doesn't feel like it would be far off from a normal like olive brine martini. So I get it, and you like I like pickles. I don't like drinking pickles.
That's fair.
You people with your picklebacks
You
and your
people.
yeah, like I'll do them with you, but I'm never happy about it.
My goodness. Uh, let's see. Got some good questions in here. Let me scroll up. Are we excited for season 2 of Andor? Yes.
Eh.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, yeah. Really
Uh,
psyched. Like, I'm working on a video. Just I keep talking about the Gorman massacre, so I was like, I should just instead of feeling like I have to explain it every single time I do a video about Andor season 2, now that it is 100% fully confirmed, I'm doing a video about the Gorman massacre. Uh, so hopefully that'll save time in future videos.
mm,
But like, I'm so psyched that that's going to be in the show. I think it's going to have huge implications.
yeah. And to think that it's gonna span over 5 episodes is
Hmm.
really exciting because I I get the feeling that by Tony Gilroy saying that, we might see just like some really early on planning and like just early stuff having to do with what they want to accomplish, and then we slowly get closer and closer to the day of.
Yeah, I
I
feel
think
like the
it'll build
first
up tension really well.
I think it's going to be kind of like Ferrix was in season 1 where even when Cassian left, we kept on going back, checking in on Ferrix so that at the end there's this huge explosion, the riot that happens there. So I think like in the first couple arcs, we'll probably check in on Gorman. So I don't think it's going to be 5 continuous episodes of the Gorman massacre. I think it'll be like
Sure, yeah.
here's a little bit of what they're doing in arc 1, a little bit in arc 2, and then maybe arc 3 will be it.
Yeah. Um this one's fun. Do you think Legacy of Vader will address Kylo Ren's mask inconsistency from, well, you're saying from Galaxy's Edge. I don't know that they're going to address it for Galaxy's Edge's sake.
That seems like something Charles Soule might do though,
Might
like just
do it.
for the heck of it. I'm not expecting it to, but I
I'm
could see Charles doing it.
I would be interested to see if they show him like getting the pieces back, or like how he got it back, or when, or if he has a bunch of extra ones. I don't know.
Maybe we'll meet like maybe he has his own version of Vinay we just haven't met yet, and a guy like on the Supremacy saw him smash it and was like like got the broom out in a dustpan, and
Yeah.
he's gonna want this back. He smashes his helmet every other week.
Yeah. Have you figured out the release schedule for your Andor coverage, reviews, and streams? We have not.
I,
We'll
I, I
figure
think
it
the
out.
last we had talked about it, we're probably gonna do it on. That's probably the wrong piece. Probably do the streams on Thursday. I think that makes more sense to give people plenty of time to watch 3 potentially hour-long episodes a week.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll still try to do Lego streams, but
We'll see,
let's try to
because
not.
I'll also have to be covering 3 hour-long episodes a week. So
Yeah. We're on the fence, I guess, for what we're going to do on Wednesdays, because
Wednesday
if we
should be the review video. Like
yeah.
that should happen.
Yeah. But if we stream on Wednesday, we're going to want to talk about the episodes. So
Right.
that's going to be hard to stay away from. Are we going to have any questions at the Andor Tony Gilroy Q&A live stream tomorrow? I don't know. If they're going to be taking questions from chat, I'll be in there. But we're going to definitely be watching.
Where's this piece? I've already lost a piece.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm interested in that. Like, I'm interested to see how Tony Gilroy handles a live chat.
Well, I'm sure he's going to be given questions
Yeah, I
that
know,
the
but like
probably multiple moderators are looking through.
when they announced he was going to do it, I was like, huh. Like, I don't. To me, it kind of seems like when he got into Andor, he was a little more standoffish from all of Star Wars, and now I think over the course of season one, like I remember he watched someone's reaction to One Way Out. I forget the channel name, but he was like, "Wow, that was a lot of fun to see them react to that."
Oh yeah, don't you
And
know he cares
well,
about
that's I
podcasters?
mean, like he made that comment, which I think was a I don't know, we didn't hear his tone, but I read it as kind of sarcastic of
Oh,
like
I did too.
it's going to be hard for the podcasters to keep up, but what are they going to do? But I don't know. Like I do think he kind of has gotten more involved in the fandom and he really did seem to enjoy like he reached out to that reaction channel and was like, "Hey, do you want to talk about the show?" And they were like, "Yeah." So I think he's kind of like started to understand the Star Wars fandom a little more and was like, "This is kind of neat."
Mm. Ken says Killa for its Prince and Blondie vibes is my favorite so far. Alex and I are gonna dance to Zombie Boy.
That
Uh,
feels appropriate.
and he also likes How Bad Do You Want Me a lot too. All good songs, all bangers. Oops, all bangers.
All bangers, no mash.
Every Gaga album is Oops, all bangers. Sean wants it to be known. To be clear, I'm on Alex's side. I don't want to make pickle. Or wait, I only want to make pickle drinks for Jill and me.
Winning. I just don't get you.
Our
You and your pickle juice love.
our tastes are just elevated.
Are they?
Yeah.
Just chugging pickle juice. Like,
I'm
I'm so fancy.
I'm not chugging it. You don't chug a martini. And well, it depends on the kind of day you've had, I guess. Are y'all gonna have a meetup in Japan? So that it's hard to say because there's
Every time we do celebration, we have to kind of like wait and see what the schedule looks like.
when we did it in London, it was really fun, but it was kind of like a little crazy and hard to manage. We were just kind of outside, surrounded by people for several hours, which was great, but then we were kind of like, oh, we might have to go soon and there's still a lot of people here, so we need to figure out that.
And we have to know the full schedule.
And we have to know the schedule, yes. And like we probably can't do it inside the convention anywhere, so it might have to be at another location, but we'll figure it out. And we'll post it.
We've tried to do one in the convention hall before. Like I was at Anaheim or Chicago, and they kept just saying like, "You got to move." Like it kept getting bigger and bigger, and people were like, "Okay, you got to go outside."
They were kicking us out
Yeah.
because they said we were a fire hazard. I was like, "You're a fire hazard," and then I ran. Oh, good. Force Center is going to review them in August. We'll finish them in June. I will wait patiently.
I am, now that Tony Gilroy has said it was a Disney decision to release it this way, I'm back to being annoyed.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it either way at this point, but
I have accepted it.
Hearing him say it was a Disney decision and we didn't find out until after the show wrapped and blah blah blah, like those kinds of statements tell me that he wasn't thrilled about it, but was also kind of like, what can you
Like,
do?
he doesn't seem upset about it, but like that was kind of my caveat of like I'm not going to be annoyed if Tony Gilroy, the creator of the show, is like I think this is the best way to watch it. But if it's a Disney Plus, I'm just so unhappy with the way the streaming industry is that I just feel like they make all these weird decisions. And maybe it's for Emmy purposes. I can see that. Maybe like I do think it could be a sign of faith for the show if they're like we have to get it all out so it can get some Emmys. Then I'm like, okay, that's kind of fair, but like I wish you had just started to release it earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
think Tony said that they had completed the show in November. And obviously they can't put it out during Skeleton Crew, but I'm like, you didn't have to put it out in just 4 weeks. But I know some people are happy about all that. I don't know. I'm like, there are pros and cons to it, but I just wish Tony Gilroy got to make the decision and not executives at Disney Plus.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just, I mean, Disney is kind of in charge of that stuff, so you gotta answer to them. Let's see. There was one that I saw. Um, will you ever bring back your Everything I Love About series?
I was actually just thinking about probably doing that for Andor. Uh, I want to go back and do it for Skeleton Crew too. For a while, I was kind of like doing that while the episodes were coming out for a series, and I just like wasn't able to keep up with it for the past few.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, well, I have to go back and rewatch them, which isn't a bad thing, but there are like so many other things going around. But I'm like, okay, maybe if it's just 4 intense weeks, I might be able to keep up with Andor season 2. Because yeah, I really like doing that Cinema Wins style thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it also is just being a content creator, it's like hard to stay motivated to do the same things over and over. So when something just catches my attention, I'm like, I'm really having fun doing those FAQ style videos, or I've been doing like the essential guide to planets or aliens or whatever. Working on that kind of stuff right now has got me a little more energized.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been focusing on those lately.
I had an idea for a series of shorts that is basically like, what the F is this thing?
Or who the F,
Or who the F is this character? Just like,
which I like.
just kind of like focusing in on some of the really weird background characters of Star Wars, especially the ones that have a solid story to them.
Just a Glup Shido series, basically, which of
Yeah.
course I love.
And it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have to be like Glup Shido status characters. There's just like, Weoslia is always a character that I think about way too
Shout
often
out to Adam Witt.
because of Adam
Uh
Witt.
huh.
And like, that was just like such a random, fun trivia bit that we learned about in our study times. But such a weird looking guy.
We've been discussing working towards our first tabletop role playing game. I've assembled my cast, my players, and we've already been talking about like what the campaign's going to be, how long, blah blah blah. Uh, I don't think this is going to be the first thing we did, but we joked about doing an Oops All Weirdos campaign because
Oops, all little freaks.
yeah, what one of my friends was like, "Oh, can I be like a Kowakian monkey lizard?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure. Like I'm open to anything." And then another friend was like, "Oh, can I be like Meeber Gascon, one of those?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, does everyone just want to be tiny? What's happening? So I don't think it'll be our first campaign, but at some point we'll probably just do "Oops, all little freaks."
Yeah. I suggested that we do a story, a campaign where we're all Kowakian monkey lizards,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically there's 5 players, and we are basically the Bad Batch. So there's going to be a heavy, a sharpshooter, like a
One that's good with computers.
yeah, a super smart one
And
with
and by that, like,
glasses.
even with that, I kind of want them to be above average for Kawaki and Monkey Lizard, but still not that smart.
Yeah,
Like, I still want them to be chaotic little demons.
yeah, and
We're having a lot of fun.
that has a lot of potential.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun brainstorming silly tabletop ideas.
Sean, we did also talk about everyone being tiny except for one person, and I've already, I think, locked in on a KX droid character, so
You can just carry everyone.
I could be the tank that everyone rides on. Adeline Hudson has the next super chat. What about was about to reply to the Biggs actor in Conclave post with quote Wedge Antilles is better, but didn't want to get in trouble for spreading misinformation.
And now you've done it here. Block that person.
at,
I'm
le-
kidding.
at least you could admit that it is misinformation. That is very mighty of you.
Just about any time we post something about Biggs, it's like half celebration and half people uh giving me crap for like in fun jest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Corey loses says one who's good with tech and another who's good with tech but has less hair and a USB hand.
I got to remember what all there's so I was thinking each we're going to play probably with the kids on bikes teens in space rule set, which is much it's rules light, and everyone has they're basically assigned dice, a D4 through a D20 for all their skills, and it's like there's fight, flight, brawn, charm. I don't think they call it intelligence, but it might just be tech or something. Grit, I think. I forget. I think there's
Grit, would that be Hunter? Or would that be
I don't know. It's like some of them
Echo?
don't apply that well, so we might have to adjust the rule set for the Kowakian playthrough.
Yeah. I like your idea though to obviously they're not going to be as good at all of those things as the Bad Batch. It's just kind of like like a really beefy Kowakian.
I mean we might make it a Kowakian ape lizard because
Oh yeah.
those exist.
Uh I Haja, thank you for being a member of the 603rd. My favorite pair of fire hazards. Great chat and love the Patreon. This is the way.
Thanks.
I like the Andor 4-week approach, but assumed it was planned. Yeah, I think it'll work out no matter what, but it will just be kind of an interesting time for like the hardcore fans who, you know, cover it or follow it as closely as we do and a lot of you guys do.
Yeah, like we certainly make jokes about what Tony Gilroy has said about the poor podcasters. I'm like, I do not think they should cater to the podcasting community and the YouTuber community or anything. I just want it to be the creator's decision. I
Yeah.
feel like streaming is constantly just a near impossible place to navigate for the actual creatives, and Netflix will put out a great show and just be like, well, it didn't perform in the first 48 hours, so we're canceling it. And
Yeah. It's
the
got to be all
algorithm says it's
bangers.
not. Yeah, it just, I'm more upset at the streaming industry than anything. The the release schedule isn't that big of a deal.
Mm.
But I'm like, I'm already annoyed at streaming, so then to hear that, well, that was a Disney Plus decision, I'm like, of course it was.
I'm just hoping that it feels like a solid breaking point between every 3 episodes.
I
Because if
do
it
think it
doesn't,
will.
I'm going to be like, whoa, what are we doing here? What
Right.
was the point of this?
I do think it will, since they crafted it to be 3 episodes time jump.
Hmm.
So I do think that season 2 is going to be well uh, suited for this release schedule.
Agreed. It is going to be hard for spoilers, Amaranth
Mm-hmm.
said, and those who don't want to be spoiled will disengage.
Yeah, that's like, if you can't stay up late or wake up early and watch the full, I don't know how long they're going to be, but I'm assuming we'll get like an hour and a half at least every week. And it's like, if you don't have time to do that on a Tuesday night,
Yeah,
then okay, I guess you have to stay off Twitter. All, well, Blue Sky.
just stay off.
You just got
Yeah,
to stay off the internet.
social media in general,
Yeah.
which can be done, but I realize that it's difficult. But when, I mean, for us, like we're on, well, I'm on it all the time because that's kind of what I do. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I should have written down who said this, but I just remember when I was whining about it when it was first announced. Someone in the comments was like, "This is a one-time problem. Like, when we're rewatching the series, when it's all over, you're right. I won't care about how it released initially."
Sure. But how often are we going to rewatch the series?
Every week. I don't know.
WizBizRF, thanks for the next super chat. Do you anticipate Star Wars to still be a thing in another 50 years? It's crazy to think about, but it really seems like it'll go on forever. I think it will definitely still be a thing, but whether or not it's still churning out films, I highly doubt it. Maybe in 50 years, it'll just be kind of back to Legends, like just a couple of books here and there, or comic books,
Yeah.
or
I mean, I'm trying to think of another similar franchise. I don't know how, like, Bond has been around for a long time. I don't know when the first Bond movie came out. 60s maybe. But that, like, I think Star Wars is always just gonna kind of have ebbs and flows, and for a long time there were just books and comics coming out, really.
mm-hmm.
So like, Star Wars is
Yeah,
always,
since 62.
yeah. So Star Wars is always like come and gone, and there are people who, only watched the movies and never read any of the books or comics, and to them it was like, wow, this is just like a dead zone for Star Wars. But for me, it wasn't, because I like was just getting into Star Wars in the mid 90s as a kid, and I was like, give me all those books.
Mm-hmm.
So it never really felt dead to me. So I think if you're like a diehard, I want to stick with the universe no matter what. There's probably always going to be something.
As long as they still have a dedicated park at Disney,
That's true.
it'll be a thing. They'll make it stay a thing if they're selling tickets to Disney for it. But
I
yeah, it basically, like, now that it's everything's owned by Disney, it's just like, is it making us money? Yes
mhm.
or no?
I agree. I don't think it is always going to be cranking out like streaming shows and movies and stuff, but I think it would be very hard for Star Wars to completely disappear.
Yeah.
Or even if it did, like, commercially, professionally, fans are going to keep doing fan fictions and fan films and stuff.
Yeah. It would really be a shame if they just like wouldn't let anyone write any more books or comics or stories in the Star Wars universe just because they didn't plan on doing any more movies or shows. So we'll see. Like maybe Disney sells it to someone new or like something. I don't know. But a lot of people brought up Doctor Who
Oh
as
yeah,
being
that's a good
like,
one.
I mean, Doctor Who is still so
Yeah,
popular, and like Star Trek, I forget when that started, but
60s.
it's still
Mm-hmm.
coming out with brand new shows that are kind of like spin-off Star Trek stories.
I was trying to think of like what's the oldest franchise, and I guess Bond was the first thing I thought of. But yeah, Doctor Who. That might be the closer comparison, and Star Trek.
Besides, yeah, just like animated Disney films.
Yeah, that's not like a an ongoing franchise of stuff.
I guess Planet of the Apes.
I mean, that's another example of a franchise that just like disappeared for a long time and then had a strong resurgence.
Oh yeah, when they realized they could do like computer animated stuff in movies, they're like, oh, let's bring it back. Superman, yeah. Godzilla
Yeah, Godzilla's a
has
good one.
a lot of gaps, but that's a good one too. Hi, Brian. Brian says he likes my glasses.
Hey, Brian.
Thanks, they help me read. Oh, Tully Quinn says those scripts from that unproduced George Lucas Star Wars show are making the news again. Do you think we'll ever see something come of them? I really don't think so, and I hope not, because some of the ideas for that do not sound appealing.
Yeah, the whole and I remember when they first I can't I didn't even see the interview where they came back up recently, but I remember hearing about how they were like gonna tell the Emperor's origin story in the show, and I was like, I don't need or want that. Like Darth Plagueis the novel worked for me because Palpatine was always evil. Like I don't need to know why the Star Wars version of Satan, in my opinion, like he is just the personification of the dark side. I don't need to know why
Mm.
he was that way. I get it. He just lusts for power.
I agree, and I completely agree with Pigpen in the chat who says, unpopular opinion, Star Wars Underworld sounded awful. I don't want to know about Palpatine's love life and how he became evil because a woman rejected him. That is exactly it. That story cannot exist in today's world because, I mean, everything already gets blamed on women. We cannot add to that. We just cannot.
So yeah, I'm just way back when those interviews came out. I was like, this doesn't seem. I'm sure technologically it would have been cool, but they never really figured out how to
Oh, yeah, it was
get
going to
it
be
going. And
so expensive to make. And, like, obviously, George Lucas being involved, he wants to make it something new, something different. And, like, I think just for his vision, it was going to be way too expensive. And he was probably like, oh, all right, oh well. Making Palpatine an incel was a crazy idea, Lamau. I mean, yeah, that doesn't mean he isn't one still, but yeah, I don't want to see that story played out. That would be detrimental to the fandom and like the future of fans. I can't imagine the damage that that would do. But there are parts of it that they could continue to incorporate
I mean, they
in
have
other stuff.
like
Yeah.
they. I'm trying to remember the Star Wars 1313 was going to kind of tie into some of that storyline, and then that game obviously didn't get made, but then elements of that continue to pop up. The Crymora Syndicate, which we still don't know a whole lot about, but that was, I think, made for 1313. I think someone, when the Mandalorian episode of the Book of Boba Fett came out,
Mm.
they shared like the meat packing uh concept art that they had done for 1313, that, like, stuff gets recycled in Star Wars all the time. If a concept doesn't make it into a show or a movie, they almost always revisit it at some point.
Mm. Oh, Pigpen says Saw was created for Underworld.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
The Church of the Force was too.
So lots of solid ideas, obviously coming from George. But I would rather see them kind of cherry pick the good stuff out of that series and what it was going to be, and be able to use some of those ideas in multiple different projects. Oh, this one's not in English. So I don't know if I should try to read it or not. Let me see if I can figure it out.
You can copy and paste it into
It
a
says
translator.
It says Brazil?
I assume that's Portuguese, yeah.
Hold on.
We've been learning Japanese, but not Portuguese.
Right. Hello from Brazil. My girlfriend and I love your channel.
Yay!
Hey!
You did it.
I figured it out.
Thank you.
Slash, I Googled it.
I figured it out. I did it.
Thank you for the super chat. And I'm so happy you're here and that you and your girlfriend like the channel.
I wish we were more cultured.
Well, yeah. That's just being American.
I know a little Spanish and a little Japanese.
I do think after...
And a little Hutties.
Oh, yeah, like you can read Arabic. I think after our visit to Japan, I want to keep using Duolingo because I really enjoy the idea of just like learning a little bit of a new language every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I might swap to Spanish.
I would like to pick Spanish back up.
Yeah.
I had a decent handle on that through high school and college. I think it would come back to me quickly.
Yeah. Charles from accounting, thank you for the next super chat. What's a glup shitto that you guys just don't get the hype about?
Oh.
And I do recall Sean Sully replying to this and saying Big Star Darklighter.
Well, Sean's an ass.
So, time to block you.
You hear that, Sean? You made me cuss. So you know I'm serious. I don't know that I have. I mean, I've definitely heard answers that surprised me, but I've never been upset about it. And like, I guess, you know what? Watto.
Yeah.
That came up today.
That's fair.
And I remember when we went to see The Phantom Menace for the 25th anniversary on May 4th last year, Watto got like the biggest applause. Like Jar Jar, people clapped for Jar Jar.
Oh,
People
it was
clapped for Anakin.
wild.
People clapped for R2-D2. There was a lot of clapping for first-time appearances of characters, but people cheered for the slave owner. And I was like, we looked at each other and we were like, Watto? Really?
What is happening?
Like, why? Okay, so yeah, if people like Watto because of the George Lucas talk show and that iteration of Watto, I can understand that. But if people are just like, I love that Watto guy, I don't get it.
I like a solid Toydarian because I think their little bodies are hilarious and silly
What's it? King
and
King
adorable.
Katumko?
Yeah. They just got the tiny little wings,
Mm-hmm.
but they got big old pot bellies.
Yeah, I like Toydarians. Uh, Not so much Watto.
Yeah, I do agree. That one's kind of a weird one. Pigpen says Babu Frick. I'm sorry, I do not
Oh,
like
how
Mr.
dare!
Frick. I like referring to him as Mr. Frick. Please call me Babu. Mr. Frick is my father. Uh, I can't think of any. I'll probably get a lot of flack for this, but I really didn't care much about the clone characters until Bad Batch. So, and a lot of that is just because I did not grow up watching the Clone Wars, so I don't get the love and the hype for some of
I
the
don't know that
clone
I would
characters.
like a lot of the clones. I don't consider them glups anyway. They're definitely just random. I don't Ridge. Sure, Glupshido, Goji.
Trying to think of like one from the films.
I missed a lot of pieces. Did I just skip a whole thing? What happened?
Uh, I don't love Teak.
Well, then
He's
why did you demand we buy that from Disneyland?
it's cute, but the actual Teak is kind of creepy. Hmm, I don't know. Is Jabba a Glupshido?
No.
Oh, maybe like Joe Yowza
Okay. But do you see a lot of
or
hype for
Size
him?
Noodles, maybe. But like, I just had a weird introduction to those characters because I just vividly remember them from the special edition Star Wars, where I was like, these do not make sense. Why are they here?
Mm-hmm.
I know Kristen Baver loves Sice Noodles, so I hate to say that, but Claude. I mean, Claude's such a weird little guy. Well, he's not little, but I I kind of get the appeal for Claude, I guess, just because you're kind of like, why is he there? And where does
He
he
is
end up?
funny.
Oh, if we want to talk about ships being Glepshidos, I'll just say almost all of them.
Ugh.
Or like B-Wings for sure. I don't get the hype. What
Well,
a ridiculous design.
we don't have to talk the rest of the night, I guess.
I'm making enemies tonight.
It's okay. You can be wrong. I'll still love you.
Dan Ben asks, what's a Glepshido again? So basically, it's just like a weird character that people have really just latched onto. And I guess for us, because we know so many people in the community, we can like think off the top of our heads, okay, like we have a friend who's obsessed with this character and this character. And so that it's just like weird side characters that aren't meant to be the main focus, but then have this like huge following.
It comes from some tweet that someone said like Star Wars fans be like, "Oh my God, it's Glupshido," when I think they posted it after a maybe it was the Cobb Vanth episode of The Mandalorian or
Mm-hmm.
something.
I like glup shippos
Ugh,
for ships.
I have like completely missed where these pieces go, and now I have
We
to.
take 1 week off,
I know.
and you don't know how to build Lego anymore.
Well, everything I've done looks right to me, but I have these extra pieces, or maybe they go on after, but it didn't look like it.
Speaking of
Oh,
Lego, did you guys see the cute little Mario Kart
I found it. Thank
set
goodness.
that came out?
Uh, I'm excited for that.
It's
I think I'll get that.
it's really cute. We actually went out to a brewery that we frequent here in Atlanta because they were doing like a little Mario Kart bracket tournament on Monday for like Mario Day, but they've been doing it for a couple Mondays. So we went. It was really, really fun. And it was just us and two of our friends, and then like two other guys came specifically to play in the tournament. So it wasn't a
It
lot of
was a
people.
tiny bracket. I think two other people joined in, so seven total people.
One of the bartenders played, and yeah, there was another guy that showed up late, but that was really, really fun. I did not play in the tournament because I am hot garbage at that game, but maybe I'll play next
I
time. I
got
don't know.
third, close to second. My friend who is better at Mario Kart than I am, I did beat him one time, and I was pretty proud of that. I had a clutch play right at the end.
Oh, what's up, Coleslaw? Thank you for the super chat. Though the exact origins of the precious
It's been a
metal
while.
Erodium are debated, some suggest it is actually fossilized space avocado. This is also suggested by the old uh, etymology of the avocado or orado. Sure, that all sounds true to me.
It's been a while since we got an avocado fact.
That all sounds right to me, Coleslaw. Thank you. I love it. I know this has been a running joke. Samuel Rogers says for like 2 years now, but Coleslaw would come in with random avocado facts. Did it start as avocado, or was I just talking a lot about avocado at
I
one
think you
point?
were just talking a lot about avocados for some reason.
Because, oh, it was when I learned from TikTok that you can submerge them in water and
Mm-hmm.
put them in the fridge and they will last so much longer. And I was like so obsessed with that because I was like, oh, I can actually buy them and use them now because they would just go bad. But now they're too expensive to buy.
It's time. Ooh, he's kind of
Ooh,
rubbery.
is
His
he?
head.
Or is he just not very structurally
No,
sound?
that just feels like a completely different material.
Oh, that is weird for Lego.
Huh.
It kind of feels like an eraser.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Weird. Kind of want to rip his arms off. Make him canonically accurate.
Sounds violent. Oh, what's up, Vanporium? But is Glup Shippo for ships or romantic pairings? That's true. It,
Mm,
it kind of works for both.
yeah.
We should
I don't.
make up maybe ship Gluppos. Can be about ships.
I'm trying to think of like weird pairings I've heard of. Weird ships, as in romantic pairings that I have heard that I. Oh, our friend really does ship Dedra and Cyril, but
Ugh.
not because
Who?
Sarah,
Oh no.
but not because she likes them together, just because she thinks that they're going to make each other even worse.
Mm.
And she's like, I want to see that
I guess
happen.
that's fine. Yeah.
So it's not like that she wants to see them make out. She just wants to see how terrible they make each other.
I mean, yeah. That you see the two of them starting to get a little close. Like that last scene of them in the finale of Andor is phenomenal because there's so many like little acting choices and the look on Deidre's face that entire time. She goes from like complete shock to complete disgust, back to shock, and then like confusion, and then like pity, and then like and like curious
It's everything.
curiosity. It's so many
She's like,
emotions.
oh my god, I almost died. I'm going to kill this person. What are you doing here? Wait, you saved me. Oh, I hate you? Should I thank you? Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, as a woman, that all of those emotions make sense because she's kind of like creeped out by him, but he saved her, so she's kind of like, am I supposed to thank
I
you.
wonder if
Like,
she's gonna like string him along, or like I also don't know.
I think he's going to make her feel more special and important. Like, I think they're going to work together because I feel like she's going to get maybe demoted or she'll be punished somehow for what happens in Ferrix. And so maybe in season 2, she gets demoted and then they have to kind of work together a little bit. It'll be like a weird kind of like fascination between the two of them, I think.
I'm curious.
Yeah. Tommy K says, I would love to see a Clone Wars type animated show between Mando era and the sequel trilogy focused on the new Jedi Order. Could fit in some Mara Jade and Luke story in there.
I've seen a lot of Mara Jade talk popping back up this past week because of the lightsaber announcement.
Yeah, I don't really see them canonizing her, but especially because she was so closely written to Luke specifically. I would love it if they did canonize her, but I think if they did, they would change her story to not be involved with Luke at all, and I think that would make people mad.
Yeah, like I struggle to see how it could be done now. Like Thrawn, when they initially brought him in and they were doing him in the Star Wars Rebels time period, which was a part that we didn't know as much about his history then. Um, and you could still keep him like he was Thrawn. Mara Jade, like her introduction was so much about her being the Emperor's hand and having his last command like stuck in her brain.
Yeah.
uh,
It's got a great story.
so I don't know, but I agree with you that I would love to get that animated series. Whenever someone asks us what animated series do you hope they do next, I'm like Luke and anybody. Luke and Leia training, Luke and Ben training, Luke going around with Lor Santeca, or Luke at the new Jedi Temple. Like any of those, I would be down for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want deep fake Luke. So
No.
just do Luke.
I think they've really we've gone too far to now go back and give Luke a love interest. Like in my mind, Luke is completely like asexual, and so I think bringing in Mara Jade would be difficult because if they were to stick with that, they'd have to change her story a little bit. But we've talked about it on streams before that they could bring her into the sequel trilogy, let her be a love interest for Rey. I don't know, like she could still be the hand of a bad character
I
and
guess,
have this like command stuck in her head, but
huh.
just like make it work for a different character.
I mean, that would cause such an uproar.
Lesbians?
But, like, having Palpatine's second death just happen, yeah, I mean, I could see that he may have had some secret assassins or something have the Emperor's hand be a thing while he was stuck in his little, like, claw arm game.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't I hadn't thought about it that way, but I think that's interesting. Bringing back secret Imperial agents during the time of the New Republic is an interesting idea, or Sith agents, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I have so many ideas of how they could bring her character into the story, but none of them would be accepted because they all involve non-hetero relationships, which is unfortunate. But there's a lot of unfortunate things happening right now. Anyways, I am curious about whatever the next big animated show is going to be. I wonder if they're going to announce something at Celebration in Japan or like wait and announce something later. I feel like we would need to get some kind of hint at what they're working on next. But
Yeah, the celebration panel schedule so far has me a little perplexed.
yeah, they've got. I mean, they're gonna announce other panels, but
Yeah, that's I'm hoping that we get more announcements soon.
there's no just like general Lucasfilm panel like there has been the past couple of celebrations. But they could do more with the Bad Batch. They could do a Bad Batch spin-off with Ventress. There's not been any confirmation about a Hidden Path show, but if it's like Ventress, it could be related to her and Quinlan working with the Hidden Path. I don't know. Sean Sully says, I personally love Joe Yauza. I'm happy for you.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Weird little guy.
I'll be waiting by the phone for your apology.
Relevant Lord Hosk says Biggs and fake Wedge, and you know it's true.
As a
Wait.
ship?
Maybe. Do you mean as a ship? Or maybe this was supposed to be Biggs is fake Wedge.
I do like fake Wedge a lot. Coltac Bright. I thought that was such a fun story, and from a certain point of view.
Yeah, okay, that's a ship. Biggs and fake Wedge. I'll allow it. Whatever happened to fake Wedge?
Dunno. Coltac Bright?
So much story to be had for
He's
him.
still out there somewhere.
What about fake Windu from the Phantom Menace? Well, he was never given an actual. I don't think he was given a canon name.
I think he's just Mace Windu, but I always think that's funny.
But he's not Samuel L. Jackson.
No, there's that, and in the Two Towers, it always jumps out at me that Carl Urban's stunt double plays AMR in like one random scene, and I just remember seeing that and be like, "That's not AMR."
He quit the Rebel Alliance when his boyfriend died. Just lost heart. Yeah. I wouldn't blame him. What's up, Maddie Gunner? Let's see. Erden asked, what might have happened to Darth Vader's melted mask after Kylo Ren's death? After Ben Solo's death.
I guess someone on Kajimi picked it up.
Someone had to have picked it up. Maybe like a maintenance guy, maybe Matt the radar technician.
Oh man.
Will come back.
It might have blown up with Kajimi. I mean, maybe a First Order person grabbed it.
Someone surely thought it was worth something if it were kind of like set up on a pedestal like that in his quarters.
Well, yeah, but then she, like, when they're fighting, she hits it, and then it, like, teleports to Kajimi. So, the last we see it, it's on Kajimi.
Oh.
So maybe Kylo had someone grab it and take it up to the ship, but even then, that ship explodes later in the movie, so I feel like that thing, it either stayed on Kajimi and probably blew up, or it was on the Steadfast and probably blew up.
I hope it did blow up, because I don't know. Does it really need to survive past episode 9 of the Skywalker saga? It was in pretty rough shape. But, or maybe it's out floating in its own little escape pod somewhere. Someone just put it in a pod and sent it on its way and was like, hope you get somewhere safe, buddy.
I hope it blew up again, and someone has it and they're like, it's Darth Vader's helmet, and it's just you can't even tell, and they're like, yeah, okay,
It's even more melted.
sure.
Yeah, the helmet's currently floating through space with pink butterflies and having an awesome solo. It could certainly be referenced in a comic. I think if we were to find anything out, it would be there. MC Lego Boy says, "Who wins in a fight, the Dino Mech from Bad Batch or a fully grown Zillo Beast?" I think the Zillo Beast, I think, takes that.
That's fun. That's like a Mecha Godzilla fight.
I'm always going for real organic being over mech.
Well, the Zillo Beast like feeds off of energy in the Bad Batch, so if a fully grown Zillo Beast got blasted by that Dino Mech thing, it might just make it stronger. So I'll go Zillo Beast.
Yeah, they're like, "Come at me, bro. Shoot me with your little laser guns. I'll gobble it up." Uh, JG from Space asked, "Did we ever hear the story of how Maz got Luke's saber?"
Not canonically, but in Star Wars Visions Volume 2, in the short I Am Your Mother, you can see her steal it from a shop. So
I forgot about that.
that's the best we've got right now. I wouldn't consider that to be true, but it's something.
Mm-hmm. I love that they got away with putting that in
Yeah.
there. I mean, I'm sure they had to get it approved and people knew about it, but Maz is one of those characters that's kind of been around forever, and she's been around and done everything and been everywhere, so to put her there is not a stretch.
We know that an Ugnaught picked it up from Cloud City. We saw that in uh, the Charles Soule Star Wars run. So he probably just sold it on the black market and it got passed around, and Maz eventually got a hold of it
Mm.
as a pirate queen.
It's a fun question from super chat from Elowasti. "You're offered a guest role in a Star Wars project and you accept. Getting the script and practicing, you realize that it will likely be bad. What do you do?"
I do it.
I do my best.
Yeah.
I do my best and don't really care if it's bad.
If I were given that chance and I weren't crazy about the story, I'd be like, oh well, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. It's not like if we were actors and we were like, this could ruin our career, different story maybe, but
Yeah.
we're not actors. So taking a guest spot role in any Star Wars, yeah, I would take that chance. Because even if it's bad, could end up a glupshido.
I'd do everything I could to make sure I was the best Glup Shido in that movie. The best Glup I could be.
Right. I would even shoot my shot and try to make it better. I'd be like, "Can I give someone notes? I have thoughts."
I would not do that.
I mean, we're kind of like I think that's kind of our specialty department as far as like what we know about Star Wars and understanding it.
Oh, as far as Glup Shidos?
No, as far as like giving notes to if a character is going to be bad or not. I'm just saying I would try.
If they asked us for our input, then sure, but I wouldn't be going around telling James Mangold, like, here's what I think.
I would.
No, I would stop you.
Mm. I wouldn't say it's bad. I would just say I have thoughts. And then they'd probably give the role to someone else. And I would be like, good, now that I don't have to worry about it.
Think that's it for today. What time is it?
7:08. Yeah, we need to.
Just building walls right now.
Yeah. Is it just all the exterior walls?
Mm-hmm. A lot of brown.
A lot of brown. Yeah, we need to go cook and eat dinner, and then we're recording something kind of fun for Patreon tonight that is not Star Wars related, but we're excited to talk about it. Molly ready to pull a Ron Burgundy. I'm kind of a big deal. Here's my notes. It wouldn't be me pulling rank or anything. If they asked me to do something and I'm not an actor, I'm assuming they want me for a reason. And I'm going to be like, here's what I think. And then they can take it or leave it.
They would hire us for notes if they wanted notes.
Well, yeah, but if that's what gets me kicked off a project, I don't care. I'm not an actor. I'll put it in my tell-all memoir in a few years.
Well, I'll put it in my tell-all memoir that you got me kicked off of a... I was going to play Gavin Darklighter, and now I can't.
Obviously, I wouldn't if it were going to jeopardize your role. But if you're just willing to do anything to have a role in Star Wars.
I'm still holding out hope for that Rogue Squadron. I don't think I would get a cameo, but I made that joke back in... When was that? 2020?
Mm-hmm.
I made that audition tape when Rogue Squadron still had like... Oh, that was 2021. When there was still hope of that movie being made.
Mm-hmm. No, obviously, like, a guest spot probably wouldn't have any lines, or if they did have lines, it would be like, I can't shake them.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have notes for that, because how could that be bad?
Although now I'm immediately swapping with you, because I would be like, if I just scream, I would be like, can I give
say
a little can shake him?
Yeah. Because they could just put a Wilhelm scream there. You want to make it a little special.
Yeah. He's on my 6. Boom. That's all I want. Is that so much to ask, Patty Jenkins?
Right. All right. But I think that's going to do it for us. Show off our little Max Rebo guy. He's so little.
Even in the...
I don't know if the camera's going to focus.
Is it on autofocus?
There it is. Yeah.
Little man.
Cute little guy. But yeah, we're going to go cook dinner. And then we'll be back next week for more Lego streams. At some point, we'll be done with this and I can build my Grogu set.
I'm cruising along.
You're cruising. We're cruising. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you to everyone sending in super chats, and thank you to all of our channel members. You guys are the best, and we'll see you next week. Bye.